84% of retirees are making one critical mistake with their retirement accounts that could be costing them the life they saved decades for. But here's what's different for us in the LGBTQ plus community. This mistake hits even harder because we're already starting 20 points behind on the wealth gap. I'm about to show you why taking only a required minimum distribution might be robbing you of the retirement that you deserve. And the three questions you need to ask yourself right now to know if you're one of them. In the next few minutes, you're going to discover the hidden safety premium that makes our retirement math completely different than straight cisgender retirees. Why the IRS withdrawal rules were never designed with chosen family in mind, and the one estate planning mistake that could leave your partner with nothing, even if you've been together for 30 years. But first, we need to talk about what J.P. Morgan discovered when they studied how queer people actually use their retirement accounts. Let me take you back to a conversation I had with a financial advisor last year. She told me about a 72-year-old lesbian couple, together 35 years, who saved aggressively their entire lives. They had over $800,000 in their traditional IRAs. But here's what broke my heart. They were only taking their required minimum distributions, about $30,000 a year, while living in a tiny apartment, skipping vacations, and watching their friends enjoy retirement. So when she asked them why, they said, "We're scared. We don't have kids to fall back on. We don't have family who'll help us. We need to make this money last forever." And that's when it hit me. This isn't just about RMDs. This is about the trauma of financial insecurity that so many of us carry. You see, the traditional retirement advice was written for people who have family safety nets, who didn't lose decades of earning potential to discrimination, who don't face a 20-point home ownership gap. Therefore, we need to think about required minimum distributions completely differently. Understanding the safety premium tax. Okay, so before I reveal the first critical mistake, you need to understand something that most financial advisors won't tell you. We pay what I call safety premium throughout our entire lives. We live in expensive cities because they're safer. We pay more for legal protections. We build bigger emergency funds because we cannot call mom and dad for help. But here's the opportunity most people miss. Your RMD strategy needs to account for this. So, what's the first mistake? Not adjusting your RMD withdrawal strategy to fund your actual life, not just the life the IRS assumes that you're living. Look, the required minimum distribution tables were created for straight, cisgender people with traditional family structures. They assume that you have kids, you'll inherit. They assume that you have a family to help things when things go wrong. But for us, taking only minimum might mean you're sacrificing your go-go years, your years when you actually have the health and energy to travel, to enjoy, to live, just to preserve wealth for an uncertain future. And here's what's even more important. If you're only taking the minimum because you're afraid, you might actually be creating a bigger tax bomb for the people that you love. The chosen family estate planning crisis. Now, this next point is even more critical if you have a chosen family or an unmarried partner. Here's the problem that no one talks about. When you die with a massive, traditional IRA because you've been taking minimums for the last 20 years, someone is going to pay taxes on that money. But if you're not legally married, or if you want to leave money for chosen family members who aren't spouses, they don't get the same tax benefits. So what's the second mistake? Not taking strategic distributions now to reduce the tax burden on the people you actually want to support. Here's what I mean. Let's say you're 75, you have $500,000 in a traditional IRA, and your required minimum is about $20,000. you're in the 22% tax bracket. But if you withdrew $35,000 instead, still staying in that same tax bracket, you'd pay the taxes now at your rate. Therefore, when your partner or chosen family inherits that account, that's $15,000 less that they'll have to withdraw and pay taxes on over the next 10 years. And if they're in a higher tax bracket than you just saved them thousands. And here's the kicker. You get to use that extra $15,000 right now. Maybe it's a European vacation you've been dreaming about. Maybe it's helping chosen family. Maybe it's gender-affirming care that insurance won't cover. The point is, you're alive now. Your money should serve you now. The marriage equality trap. Okay, this third point is specifically for married couples, and it's subtle but powerful. Here's what changed. Before marriage equality, same-sex couples had to plan around the fact that they could not use spousal rollover rules for IRAs. So a whole generation of LGBTQ plus financial advisors told us, convert to a Roth IRA, that take that bigger distribution, pay the taxes now. But here's the opportunity. If you got married after 2015, you now have those spousal protections. So what's the third mistake? Not reevaluating your RMD strategy post-marriage equality to take advantage of spousal rollover rules. If you're married, your spouse can roll over your IRA into their own IRA when you die. No required minimum distributions until they hit RMD age. That's years of extra tax-deferred growth. Therefore, for married couples, sometimes taking only the RMD actually is the smarter move, but only if you've done the estate planning to maximize the spousal rollover. And let me be clear, this only works if you have updated beneficiary designations, updated estate documents, and have a financial advisor that actually understands LGBTQ plus planning. So here are the 3 questions you need to ask yourself right now. Question 1, am I taking only the RMD because I have strategic tax plan, or am I just afraid? If it's fear of running out, fear of not having family support, then you might be sacrificing your current life for your future that may never come. Question 2, do my beneficiary designations and estate documents reflect my actual family, my partner, my chosen family, my community? Because if you're preserving wealth with minimal distributions, someone's going to inherit that. Make sure it's the right people with the right tax strategy. Question 3, have I reviewed my RMD strategy since marriage equality passed? The rules changed. Your strategy should too. Now, here's what you need to understand. Everything I just told you about the RMD strategy, the beneficiary designations, the spousal rollovers, making sure your chosen family inherits, all of that falls apart without the right legal documents in place. And here's the terrifying part. If you die without these documents, your $500,000 IRA that you've been carefully managing, it could legally go to your estranged parents instead of your partner of 20 years. I've seen it happen. That's why the next thing you need to know is critical. And honestly, it is so important that I made its own video. I'm breaking down the 9 documents that every queer couple and LGBTQ plus person needs to protect your partner, your chosen family, and everything that you've built, because here's the truth. Your RMD strategy is meaningless if your money ends up in the wrong hands. Click here, somewhere over here, to watch the 9 documents every queer couple needs, because this is the foundation your entire financial life is built on. Without these, the retirement account, your house, your legacy, all of it is vulnerable. Don't wait until it's too late. Watch that video. I'll see you next time.